Our first guest is Shelly Sun, and she is the CEO and founder of Bright Star Care. It's a premium healthcare staffing company headquartered in Illinois, as I said, and they provide a full continuum of care from private home care to people of all ages. But she's got a fascinating journey. Matter of fact, in 2005, her and her husband, the co-founder J.D., also started one company-owned corporate outlet, and today has more than 225 locations nationwide. And matter of fact, they're on track to have more than 300 locations by the end of 2012. Shelly, welcome to Let's Talk Business.
Thanks so much, Mitch. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to have you, and thanks for joining us today. And in preparing for today's show, there were really so many marvelous things, and it's great to get a sense for you and your journey. And we have a half hour here. So one of the things that I love to do is to get my listeners to understand that journey of the entrepreneur and of my guest. So it would be great if you can take us back, 10, 20 years ago. You're in college, getting your CPA, and what led you to here?
Now, I've trained my twin 7-year-old boys to say Mommy's only 29, so I'm not going to say how many years ago it was, but I did graduate from University of Tennessee in Knoxville with an undergraduate in accounting, and then wanted to leave the town where everyone kind of knew my family, so I didn't want to make sure that I wasn't getting career opportunities because of knowing my family versus my hard work. And so relocated to Denver, didn't know a soul, but wanted to go to grad school at University of Colorado at Boulder, and did that and worked for several different entrepreneurial companies. Wound up my last position in Denver was with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and got my CPA. So I've got an undergraduate and master's in accounting, pretty unusual background for a CEO to be from the finance side versus marketing side. CNA Insurance in Chicago, Illinois, did a national search for somebody with my background, and I relocated to Illinois. Less than a year later, I met my husband, and that kind of started my journey in my personal life, but also what turned out to be my professional life. My husband and I were looking for care for his grandmother. At that time, we were just engaged in late 2001 and had a very difficult time finding high-quality care in Florida, of all markets. And unfortunately, we lost her to cancer the day before we got married in early 2002. And it just really made us reflect on, kind of what were we going to do with our careers and what would be our legacy, and were there other families that were looking for the kind of services and the type of quality and service that we were looking for his grandmother. And so me, who never envisioned myself ever being an entrepreneur, kind of jumped off the cliff, and we started our business in October of 2002. And within a few months, I was completely unemployable to go back to corporate life, and have made a great adventure of owning my own business, but also since helping thousands and thousands of families have high-quality care, and now have, nearly 200 franchisees that we've helped, develop their own small business, which feels really good and very rewarding.
Well, it's a fascinating journey, and there's lots of reasons I wanted to have you on the show, but probably the fact of the matter is the last few weeks we've been really focusing on this, as I said, $2 trillion world of franchising, and have had Steve Caldieri on, as you know, the IFA president, and the list goes on and on. I've had Dina Dwyer-Owens on, and Stan Friedman, and so many others that are players in it. And it's such a great way to go into business, as they say, for yourself, but not by yourself. But you've done something that's really very unusual, and that is, there really was no roadmap or, quote-unquote, a book on how to be a good franchisor, and even if you should be one, and lo and behold, there you are, saying, why in the world, isn't there a book out there? And you've got your mentor, Brian, helping you and doing all that legal work. And eventually, as you and I know, Brian has become your COO, which I think is a great story all into itself. And you go ahead and you write the book, Grow Smart, risk less, a low capital path to multiplying your business through franchising. And my hat's off to you. One of the things I thought we'd talk a little bit about here, obviously, is franchising. And maybe you could talk a little bit about not only franchising, but, some of the pros and cons of being a franchisor? You know, you definitely know some of its bright ideas and some of its pitfalls.
My husband and I have grown our business so dramatically through franchising, so we've been so blessed by the business format that franchising provides. But we, in some ways, kind of stumbled into franchising. I don't know that I would have thought of directly franchising our business had we not first become franchisees. So in 2004, we became franchisees of 2 different hotel systems with a group of investors. And I went to new manager and new owner training and read the operations manuals, maybe one of the only few franchisees that have read those operations manuals cover to cover, and started thinking, wow, franchising could be a great way for us to find people that are passionate and committed locally while leveraging what we had done to build a brand and secure trademarks and all the marketing and operation systems. We could expand through franchising as well. And so my purpose in writing the book was twofold. One, to help those that are great small businesses that are wanting to think about how do they help more customers, how do they create more jobs, find a efficient business model that I believe is the best format for growing a business in the world, and that's franchising, have a roadmap to do it well and to have their eyes open wide as to what they should do and shouldn't do. And my second reason for doing it was really my give back. I mean, when I started franchising, I wanted to do it right. And so I went to, all of the conventions. I'm very active in the International Franchise Association. I'm on the board of directors for the IFA now. And the franchising industry has been so helpful in trying to do it right. If you'll spend the time and ask the right questions, you can find out how to do it, but you usually have to skin your knees by the time you ask the right question, get the right answer, and implement it. And so if I could help grow franchising and have new franchisors understand what to do right from the beginning, that helps that many more franchisees have a better experience. So we protect this industry called franchising.
Well, I tell you what, it's really a great book and extremely thorough, as you and I both know, and it's obvious it only can be written by someone who's actually been through the journey and some of the wars. So I thought it would be great, and getting very specific with you here, Shelly, is maybe you can talk about some of the pros and some of the cons. And as I kind of said, and as you know in your book, you've got your bright ideas, those things you did right, and some of the things that you wish you knew, but you didn't maybe do exactly right, and therefore avoid some of the pitfalls. So there's a company out there, and they're thinking about franchising. Why don't we help them here?
I think it's usually, two sides of the same coin. So, the pitfalls are, don't be undercapitalized. And so the bright idea is to make sure you've adequately planned not only the amount of financing that you need in place to launch a franchise, but the amount that you'll need to fund the overhead until the point where the royalties or recurring revenues coming in from franchisees offset the recurring expenses. And what I see with most franchisors or many franchisors is they expect that they'll be able to live off the franchisees from selling franchises. And A, that's not predictable. And B, you don't want to be forced into a scenario where you have to take a franchisee or you're pressure to take a franchisee's check to keep the lights on when they're not someone who's going to succeed in the business. And so that would be my second best tip is, really understand who's going to be successful in your business. Don't compromise on those standards, whether that's capitalization or management experience within the industry if that's required. Make sure you're really clear about who you're looking for and stick with that. Better to grow slow with the right people than grow fast with the wrong people. Getting underperforming franchisees or wrong franchisees out of a system is going to be 10 times the cost of what you brought in an initial franchise fee. So grow with high-quality franchisees. Another, bright idea, be very active in the franchising industry. Many other franchisors have made mistakes. They've learned how to do things the right way. That's the way that you can get traction and make the right decisions faster is by getting out there and networking with those that have been there before. And people in the franchising industry help one another very much. Build a great infrastructure, looking for people that have a very franchisee-focused orientation, higher attitude, where you want people that see franchisees as their customers, that we need to make sure, what have we done today to make a difference in the life of a franchisee or in the lives of our franchisees as a collective system. And an employee who doesn't have that mindset is not right for the corporate team within a franchisor who's going to be a best-in-class franchisor.
Well, again, listeners, if you just happen to be joining us, this is Let's Talk Business. I'm your host, Mitch Schlimer, right here on WREK 91.1 FM, 100,000 watts. And joining us from Illinois is entrepreneur, franchisor, one-time franchisee, mom of twins, and a lot more, including the fact that in 2009, my guest, Shelly's son, was actually got the honor of their Entrepreneur of the Year award. And matter of fact, she joined some great people, including J.W. Marriott, my buddy Fred DeLuca at Subway, and as I mentioned, many others. Matter of fact, truth be told, she's the youngest recipient of this impressive award and the second female ever to receive it. And she knows her stuff, and if you can tell, she's very passionate and very sincere about not only franchising, but helping franchisors or potential franchisors